Today I fucked up by avoiding the doctor for weeks and treating my butthole my way instead. In my defense, the nurse said I really knew my stuff. My ass has been itchy for a few weeks. Guess I can breathe now, that's out there. Reason why was a mystery though. I've googled and suspected swamp ass and bought products to handle it. Didn't scratch. I thought I was just about in the clear. Dear God, last night was a whole nother level. 3 AM I'm jumping out of bed, smearing diaper cream on my ass, wiping that off, trying hydrocortisone, ouch, jumped in the shower to rinse that off, busted out the hairdryer and covered my bathroom in cornstarch trying to dry out my insanely irritated sphincter. Long story short, the house is a mess but urgent care doesn't open until 8, so I crawl into bed and get an awkward 2 hours of sleep. Drive to urgent care. Wait a while. Nurse comes in and asks the usual. I say no, I haven't had anal sex. I say no, I haven't had sex. She goes, well, it could even be from an interaction a few months ago, at which point I really emphasize how little sex I've had this year. Then we move on. She asks if I want to simply pull my pants down or change into a robe first, as if changing my clothes would somehow reduce the intimate shame I was about to experience from this unusually attractive woman staring into my red eye. She confirms it's probably a yeast thing from swamp ass. I'm thin and of good hygiene, I swear to God I'd what's wrong with my body. She tells me my pharmacy will have the prescription in 30 minutes. Super nice lady. I'm in pain but starting to feel like a happy camper. I pay copay. Side note, but this part truly sucked. Bye for now, Cyberpunk 2077 lol. Then I head out, and my ass is dancing all over the car while I drive cause I can't get comfortable with hives all over my thighs and butt. Got to the pharmacy, but considering I didn't want to scratch my crack in public, I called before walking in to verify it was ready. I feel smart for that. They couldn't fill a prescription. Fuck. Called another pharmacy and they could do it in 3 hours. Great. Just enough time to get home then have to turn around again. So instead of doing that, I spent 3 hours in my car suffering like you wouldn't believe. God, it burns and stings. Anyway, this is supposed to feel better in a week or two, but it took me 12 hours to get something for relief and it's barely worked. I'd cow why this happened. Bullshit way to end 2020 if you ask me, haha. Too long, didn't read. I trusted the internet for medical advice, which was right, but I still should have seen a professional. You may be confident there's absolutely no chance it's fungal, but life finds a way. Have you been eating a lot of cashews recently? Anal itching from eating poorly processed cashews is a real thing. I know because, a friend told me. My husband had this happen to him. He just assumed he was allergic because I was eating the same cashews and nothing happened to my booty. Are you saying he could possibly eat cashews again? Because he was genuinely sad when he gave them up. Simple explanation. Yeast grows anywhere that is moist and warm. The ass is a favorite spot for it. One's back should not simply start sweating at the age of 26 though. Unnatural, I tell ya. This may sound strange, but test your blood sugar. Yeast loves sugar. A diabetic with high blood sugar excretes excess sugar via pretty much all bodily fluids. I never had a yeast infection until I had sex with a dude that was diagnosed diabetic the next week. I know another guy that started getting weird yeasty rashes and then felt really sick. A trip to the ER led to labs which led to a diabetes diagnosis. I gotta say, of all the symptoms of diabetes, the ability to get yeast infections at the drop of a pin is the only thing that has ever truly bothered me since my diagnosis. To me, that's when it just feels like it's kicking a dead horse. Like you already turned my life upside down, why do you have to give me a god-awful rash from hell too? You may want to try underwear that's not as tight. I know it can be a big factor for me. And also cotton, so it's breathable. Plus sleep nude. It allows your butthole to breathe, so to speak, and air. I have an undiagnosed. The doctor put in on IBS because she couldn't pinpoint what else it was. Gastrointestinal issue. Every once in a while I get an irritated /itchy /grazed butthole alongside a bunch of other issues. Doing nothing means it can last for weeks. Sleeping nude as well as keeping it clean and dry makes it settle down within days, and fully go in a week usually. Sleeping nude is bliss when it happens. I'm surprised they didn't rule out pinworms. Is the itching worse at night? That's when they come out to lay their eggs. A few doses of Pirantel, available OTC, would be a good test. Today I fucked up by embarrassing my kid and involving the police. An actual today I fucked up. This happened this morning. The preliminary backstory. On Thanksgiving, my youngest played Smashy Smash with my phone, damaging the sound chip connected to the microphone, rendering phone calls impossible on my phone. Can't hear people, people can't hear me, just doesn't work unless connected to Bluetooth. Does literally everything else except phone calls. Key secondary backstory. My fiance's van has a Bluetooth stereo that doesn't like syncing to phones occasionally and will just not respond to the call option, so even if the phone was working properly, it still might not work when connected to Bluetooth if the van was feeling moody. My 9-year-old stepdaughter, who will henceforth be referred to as Squid, had an eye appointment this morning, so she was to go to school late. Once the appointment was over, Squid specifically requested that I take her to her appointment instead of her mother. Mainly because when I drive, I'll crank up the music and we goof around more so than when mom is driving. She enjoys it, I enjoy it, everybody is having fun. So come 9:45, we're moseying our way to her appointment. The stereo is connected to my playlist, and we're just flipping through songs. Now sometimes, I like to play older music, or just weird music that the kids don't like. And then I like to overdramatically sing along in the most embarrassing way possible because it's funny. And on comes the sign by Ace of Base. Her distaste for the song is almost immediate, and my need to rub it in good fun, was strong. So I cranked it up and started bouncing around and singing along. She's laughing and telling me to knock it off and then does like she fake trying to crawl out the window and yelling for help. It's all fun. Well, the police officer in the parking lot at the light who say this, did not think it was fun, and deemed it as a threat. So as we proceed through the intersection, he lights me up and pulls me over. I at first thought maybe I blew a red light, so I turned down the music, tells Squid to chill out and pulled over in the nearest parking lot. When he used the PA to tell me to turn off the vehicle and step out of the vehicle, I quickly realized that this is not about rolling a red light. Hands on the air, he comes and cuffs me and has me sit on his hood. Backup arrives and starts questioning me as he starts questioning Squid, who is frantically crying and wanting to know what is happening. And here's the everything that makes this stop that much more difficult. Myself, my fiancé and Squid all have different last names. Remember how my phone doesn't make phone calls? Can't call my fiancé. Explain the phone issue to the cop. He doesn't understand because I already said it was connected playing music. Remember how the van stereo gets moody? Yeah, it's in a mood now, so the cop thinks I'm lying. Other officer tries to call my fiancé from his phone. She isn't answering. Even more suspicious. But the initial officer and the officer questioning me are now arguing because Squid is telling the exact same story, giving the same phone number and saying the exact same thing. Our addresses check out, the van checks out, everything checks out, but this one officer does not want to let it go. Then, Squid said the smartest and dumbest thing imaginable. No, you listen. Call my dad. So they get my phone for dad's cell number. Dad answers the phone. Officer starts explaining the situation and obviously dad is worried, but as the explanation unfolds, I can hear him laughing and he says, was the stereo blasting too? The police has now gotten his confirmation that all is well in the land of Oz. This was not a kidnapping, and everything is fine. We're free to go. Now 20 minutes late for her eye appointment. We explained, they're rescheduled. My fiancé calls me because Squid's father called her. She's all freaked out. Squid is still shaken up, so we called her out of school and got morning ice cream at DQ because why not? Exclamation mark. TL, doctor, blasting music and dancing to embarrass my kid on the way to her eye appointment results in suspicious officer thinking I kidnapped her. Edit, RIP my inbox this morning. And thank you all for the awards, glad my little incident could bring some smiles. What a crazy story. That must have been so stressful. I'm sure it'll be purely hilarious in retrospect, however long it takes for the stress to be forgotten. Squid sounds sweet. She is. Except when she first wakes up. That when the fangs come out. I put a lock on my phone early this spring. When it got warm enough that I'd get sweaty, it would make calls from my pocket. Work on a farm, and we were getting ready to move cows from one pasture to another. There's one calf with brain damage from a difficult birth. He'd have been about 300 pounds at this point. All the cows and calves except him were up at the lot getting a drink. So we wanted to get him up and close the gate to this pasture. Because of the brain damage, Chance is special. He can't walk in a straight line and he falls over when he gets excited. It took me nearly an hour of sweating and cursing to get him nearly to the gate. That's when Mama Cow showed back up. Our Mama Cow, number 80, has it out for me. No one else wanted to give Chance a chance when he was born, so I bottle fed him and eventually got him to nurse the cow without help. At first he couldn't stand at all and I'd have to hold him up. 80 did not like me messing with her baby and she tried to take me a couple times. She still hates me. Well, she showed up and was in a mood. She lowered her head and bobbed it up and down. I was hot and tired and covered in cow shit at this point, and I wasn't going to back down. I start yelling at her, "You want to take me? Come at me bitch," etc. At this point, I hear something odd. I guess with the lock screen on my phone, it can only call 911. The sheriff's office was on the line, but they seemed to accept my explanation. God, I would have loved to heard that interaction. When fathers and stepfathers get along, all is good. If this isn't told at her wedding, you will have done the world a disservice. Excellent ending to an unexpectedly stressful AF morning. Scream for squid. I'm a teacher and I approve skipping school for ice cream in this occasion. Today I fucked up showing my girlfriend nudes. The job? I'm a behind-the-scenes photographer in the film and television industry. However, because of the pandemic, I've been forced to do more work as a personal photographer. This included corporate events, weddings, family portraits, and recently, even nudes. The side job, nude photography, was something new to me. I never even considered it. Not until a colleague of mine recommended me to a few clients who wanted clothed and nude portraits. The agreement: for making any decision, I spoke to my girlfriend about it and asked if she would be comfortable with me taking photos of naked people. She approved as long as I agreed to show her all the original photos from my nude shoots. I never asked why, but my gut said she was curious to see if she had any competition. For the record, she didn't. About that agreement, I've done like 6 nude photo shoots over the past few weeks. As per the agreement, I've shown my girlfriend all the original photos each time after every shoot. It was for her eyes only, just to view, but not meant to be saved, shared or copied. I made that clear from the beginning. Last night though, my girlfriend casually mentioned that she copied nude photos from my computer and shared them in a group chat with her friends. The photos were of a male model, specifically the photos where his dick was visible. She downplayed the situation and implied that I've probably done the same with the photos of female models. I told her this was my work and these models were my clients, not my fucking FAP collection. She got upset and called me a hypocrite for saying I was completely cool with the two of us using porn to do the job if the other person wasn't around, but now that she was getting off to photos of some naked dude, I was freaking out. I was like, A, he's not just some naked dude, I work with this guy, and B, you got off to him? She shrugged and said it wasn't cheating. So I straight up asked her if she wanted to fuck him. She called my question unfair because apparently most girls would want to fuck a dude like that. She had me looking at her like Squidward looks at SpongeBob. Conclusion: I asked her to remove all the nudes from her phone as well as encourage her friends to do the same. I'm not sure if I trust them though, not even my own girlfriend. So now I'm just pacing up and down, hoping my client doesn't end up seeing his face, among other things, on Pornhub, while also figuring out how I feel about my relationship. TL, doctor became a nude photographer. Showed girlfriend my nude photography. Now girlfriend wants to fuck one of the nude models. Edit: I had a Skype meeting with the client about 2 hours ago and explained what happened to his photos. I apologized for being unprofessional and irresponsible. I offered him a full refund for my services and accepted whatever legal action he may want to take. He was shocked but not upset. He said most of his modeling work, especially the nudes, always end up as some weirdo's profile pic on Twitter anyway, so he's willing to put this behind him and move on. I appreciated him being so cool about it, but insisted that he accept the refund. Eventually he did. This is why I prefer being a behind-the-scenes photographer. I can just be a fly on the with a camera. End of edit.